Hey guys, welcome to Girls Frontline 2. So let's decide whether Florence is worth pulling or not. It will really depend on what your priorities are. But before we go to the summary, let's take a look at her kit first. So her kit, I won't go through all the details of the kit. I'm gonna be going just for special effects that is actually unique to her kit. So she has Confusion Agent, includes turbid damage received by 10 at the end of the action, deals AoE physical damage equivalent to 1% of the attack to all enemies within a 5-tile radius. This is considered a turbid type debuff and cannot be dispelled. Also, she has Adrenaline, increased attack by 10% and defense by 30%. This is considered a buff and cannot be dispelled as well. Plus, I think she has another skill here, which is called Stimulant. At the end of the action, consumes HP equivalent to 20% initial max HP. So this is the skill that is, I think, going to make her unique. So consumes HP equivalent to 20% of initial max HP. For every 1% initial max HP lost, increased damage dealt by 0.5% and turbid damage dealt by 0.5%, up to a maximum of 20% each. So this is considered a turbid type debuff. So take note that this is that particular skill, which is Stimulant, that is going to increase the damage of her fellow Hydro team members. So the target is actually debatable. We'll go to that later. So for her skills, the basic attack is Forced Ejection. So this one is just a basic attack, physical attack with 80% of attack with a range of 6. Next is going to be Intensive Care. Skill and Healing selects a tile within the 6-tile radius, cleanses 2 debuffs from all allies within a 2-tile radius of a selected tile, and restores HP equivalent to 120% of attack. So this one has a range of 6%, plus this is an AoE. And for Fixed Key 6, so Intensive Care, the skill will no longer restore HP and cleanse debuffs, but instead deal AoE physical damage equivalent to 30% of attack to all units, including self, within range. This is crazy because this converts the skill from a healing skill into attack skill. The next one is going to be Pleasure Trigger. This is a skill and a buff. Selects an ally within 6-tile radius, cleanses fear and taunt from it, apply Stimulant for 1 round. As you remember, Stimulant decrease AP but provides a damage buff. Duration decrease at the end of the current round and consumes HP equivalent to 20% of the initial HP. So this one, if you upgrade this is going to be at the Vertebrae Upgrade 3. Increase the duration of Stimulant by 1 round, which is actually one of the best stopovers for her at Vertebrae 3. The new effect added is at the end of the action, if HP is below 30%, restores HP equivalent to 100% of Florence's attack. This effect can only activate once during the duration of Stimulant. Then we do have Vertebrae Upgrade 5, additionally cleanse Infatuated Stun. This also applies to Arius, which is the summon of Florence. So take note, V3 is actually important because this is, I think, the highest stopover before you go to V6, just in case you're interested. We'll go to that later and more discussion on that. Next is going to be the ultimate, an AoE, is Summon and Control. Masochistic Hallucination selects a direction, applies Confusion Agent for 2 turns and Infatuated for 1 turn for all enemies within a 3x5 area of the selected direction, and deals AoE turbid damage equivalent to 80% of attack. After skill usage, increases Confectance Index by 6 points and teleports Arius near to self. If Arius is not on the field, summons Arius after skill usage. So this is technically the one that summons the bear. And what a big bear it is. So it has a lot of it has a directional AoE built into the skill. So at Vertebrae 2, this is enhanced the Confusion Agent, increased turbid damage by 15, And a new effect added at Vertebrae 2, physical damage dealt to all units at the start of the round. And if you upgrade this at Vertebrae 4, increase damage multiplier by 20. If Iris is present, restores HP equivalent to 100% of attack for Florence and applies Adrenaline for 1 round. Then Fixed Key also gives it an additional effect. This skill will put all targets towards self by 3 tiles. Then as for Arius, we do have a skills for the guy. Pre-op preparation at the start of the battle. Summons Arius near self at the start of the allied turn. Decreases Confectance Index by 3 points. So this is like an upkeep for Arius. You can decrease this. We'll also talk about that later. If there is insufficient Confectance Index, Arius disappears. At the end of the action, cleanse, taunt, fear, infatuate, and stun from Arius. So at Vertebrae 1, as mentioned, decrease Confectance Index consumption of the upkeep by 1 point. So it becomes 2 every turn. Increase the number of counter attack performed by Arius by 2 times. At Vertebrae 6, Arius receives 30% less damage. Enhances the effect of Frisian Despair, increase attack by 35%, doubles the damage multiplier of counterattack and restores HP equivalent to 30% of damage dealt after dealing damage. So for Arius, this is his information. Humiliation Mark. 1 stack is added for each damage instance received. When the number of stacks reaches 5, it is converted into Frisian of Despair and cannot be dispelled. So Frisian of Despair is increased attack by 20. So as he gets hit a couple of times, his attack increases. Ridiculous. Doubles the damage multiplier dealt by active skills and increases damage dealt to the targets with infatuated by 10%. This cannot be dispelled. So for the skills that he has, applies Confusion Agent to the closest enemy to Florence for 2 turns, deals turbid damage as well, equivalent to 80% of attack, and applies Taunt for 1 turn. Then another skill, number 1 Assistant. This is a passive in a counter. When Florence takes damage, Ares will take all damage on behalf of her. Nice. If the distance between Arius and Florence is 6 or more tiles, Arius will be teleported near Florence. When Arius or Florence receives damage, performs counterattack, dealing turbid damage equivalent to 80% of attack. This can be activated twice per round. For each damage instance, gains 1 stack of Illumination Mark. When the number of stacks of Illumination Mark reaches 5, it's converted to Frisian of Despair. So, with that said, they're going to be summarizing more or less what is left. So, in terms of the Fixed Key, you gain Confectance Index plus 3, that's the usual. After using active skill, restores HP equivalent to 80% for self and Arius, which is actually nice, just in case you need one. After Florence or Arius attacks, applies defense down. This is definitely one of the must-have fixed keys, just in case you want to have defense down on your Hydro team. After Arius performs counterattack, gains attack up for 1 turn. Masochistic Hallucination. This skill will put all targets towards self by 3 tiles. And Fixed Key 6, Intensive Care. This skill will no longer restore HP and will be converted into a AoE attack skill, which is actually weird. For her common key, HP plus 5, increase attack by 7% dealt by the holder's entity summon. So that is what they call their summons, entity summon. Also, let's move towards the gun here, the weapons. So for the weapons, okay, the signature weapon is going to be Lasso. The most important thing here that this weapon gives is before using an active skill, cleanses 1 debuff from self. If cleanse is successful, gains 1 random buff for 1 turn. So she has this one has self cleanse plus entity summons that occupy tiles on the field has their own attributes. Basically, increased damage dealt by all entities summoned by 10%. before an ally attacks. If the target has turbid type debuff, increase turbid damage by X number of percentage depending on the number of copies of the gun. If this attack is a counterattack, further increase damage by another X number starting with depending on the number of copies of the gun. This gun is if you are going to be bringing a pure hydro team, this is going to be very beneficial to almost everyone in that team. I think except for Tulolo, everything in that team will benefit. Everybody in the team will benefit from it. You might not need this weapon if you are going to be using, if you're thinking of integrating Florence in a Hydro Koro team. I don't think you will need her there. Florence is clearly needed in a pure Hydro team, which for me, as of the moment, lacks in personnel, as I may say. So ideally, Hydro should be mixed with Corrosion. Corrosion should be with at least Klukai and Peritia to deal more damage. Plus, your Hydro will be with Tololo, Springfield, and Nikita. I'm not sure where you can squeeze Florence there. You might have to either take out Tololo, but you are also getting a lot of damage from Tololo. On the flip side, if you want to take out a character from Corrosion, which is usually Peritia, Klukai will also have a decrease in damage. So my recommendation is, if you are into a Hydro Corrosion team, I would suggest you skip her. If you don't want to build your full Hydro team, you could skip Florence. It's not that of a big deal. You could actually get her on the rerun. But if you're trying to build your Hydro team, definitely you should get her, and you should wait for kind of the missing piece for Hydro. So, how many copies of Florence, if you decide to get her, is going to be more efficient? So, I don't think you will be getting her to V6. The contention here is either V1 or V3. So for V1, which I will personally do, allows Florence to use ultimate every 3 turns instead of 2 turns due to the decreased Confectance Index consumption. This lets her use ST more frequently. There is an upkeep to maintaining Arius in the field, which is initially 3. If you activate V1, that reduces to 2, which is a big help, which, in turn, helps you use S2 more frequently. For your V3, ensures 100% uptime of Stimulant, which is actually nice as well, but that's an extra 2 copies. Okay, Stimulant is one of the main effects that Florence will be administering, mainly for Nikita. Mainly for her main target is going to be Nikita, not Tololo. Unless if you don't have Nikita, you could actually use a team where it's a Hydro Koro, which is Springfield, Tololo, Florence. Then you have Klukai and Peritia. If you don't have Nikita, if you didn't pull for her. But again, if you have Florence, her favorite target would be Nikita as of the moment. Again, so ensures uptime for Stimulant 100%. Can use ultimate without Stimulant running out of duration. So lastly, my message, again, I just want to repeat myself. If you're not into building a pure Hydro team and looking towards the future, Florence is really a 50-50. Number one, you might not even be using a Hydro Koro team. So you might as well hold off on her. If you're even using a Hydro Koro team, there's a big chance you won't be using her, because if you do use her, and if you take out somebody, chances are your damage will drop. I'm not sure what the damage is with her in and out of the lineup of a Hydro Corrosion team. I could probably test it out once we get her next week. But right now, again, if you're into a Hydro Koro, no. If you're into a Hydro team, yes, because Hydro team kind of lacks just one more that would balance things out for everyone. Then they are good. That is it, guys. Take care. Stay safe. Comment down in the comment section what do you think.